Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Dr. Baher Fuad, and the subject is Sources of Strength and Weakness in American Islam. American Muslims are increasing in number because of immigration from Muslim countries and because some Americans are converting to Islam on conviction. Most American Muslims are professionals, well-respected, and financially well-to-do. They realize their responsibility and they build Islamic centers that are open, welcoming visitors and giving tours so that visitors can go through the building, witness Muslims in prayer, and have answers to their questions and being informed about Islam. These Islamic centers cater for the needs of Muslims regarding prayer, education of adult and young, social activities, and knowing one another and working together. And they have built bridges of understanding and cooperation with non-Muslims to benefit the whole community at large, period. They have become a reference point in their community and are well respected. They also understand Islam in a rational, intellectual way, and they are incorporating some of what is good in American culture in their behavior and character. Now, some of the weaknesses in American Islam relate to rigidity of thinking. Some people come from Muslim countries with a limited, rigid understanding that Islam is only rituals of worship. As long as they pray, fast, give charity, and do Hajj, that is all required of them, and they behave at home in a way that is un-Islamic. They don't allow questions or consult their wives and children regarding decisions. Islam is much more than rituals of worship. It is our noble character and behavior, and reaching out to help others who need our help, to be honest and sincere, kind and caring, forgiving and merciful, and to reach out and help those who need our help and set an example for others. Another source of weakness is that some Muslims regard the writings and rulings of great Muslim scholars as written in stone and not listen to different opinions or different points of views, although circumstances has changed and the problems did not exist at the time of those Muslim scholars. And it is important to understand that Islam is dynamic and that we need to come up with solutions to problems that did not exist before. Imam Shafi'i was taught by Imam Malik in Medina. He went to Iraq and debated the Hanafi school of thought, and then he settled in Egypt. His rulings and writings in Egypt differ to some extent from old writings, and when asked, he said, because I know now things I did not know before. So we need to adapt to new information and incorporate that in our decision making. Another source of weakness is that some Islamic centers are not open. They do not build bridges of understanding and cooperation with non-Muslims. They close their doors on themselves, and they foster prejudice and bias because people are afraid of what they are doing and do not know what they are doing. Another source of weakness is that there are no centers of higher Islamic education like colleges or universities, and no way to groom or bring or get imams that understand American culture and have lived in this country to serve as Imams and leaders of Islamic centers. And we need to remedy this weakness. Another source of weakness in American Islam is that some Muslim organizations do not work or cooperate with other Muslim organizations, and some are not aware of their work, and some may not like what others do, and unfortunately may work to discredit their efforts. This division is not allowed in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ وَاصْبِرُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Obey Allah and His Messenger, do not become divided, you will fail, and patiently persevere, for Allah is with those who patiently persevere. Al-ayah fi Surah Al-Anfal, chapter 8 in the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ordering us to think and to reflect and to consider the Quran, its verses, its implications, how we apply it. كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتذكر أولو الألباب. This is a book, the Quran, full of blessing we send to you, O Prophet, peace be upon him, in order that they may reflect and consider its verses, and that those of understanding may be reminded. Faith settles in our heart after we know and understand and realize the truth. Then we believe, and then we willfully submit to Allah, and then we seek further guidance. وَلِيَعْلَمَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكَ فَيُؤْمِنُوا بِهِ فَتُخْبِتَ لَهُ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَهَادِي الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. So that those endowed with knowledge would know that this Quran is the truth from your Lord. Then they believe on it in conviction, and they submit willfully to Allah, and they seek further guidance, for Allah will guide them to a straight path. Al-ayah fi Surah Al-Hajj, chapter 22 in the Quran. Another weakness is that we do not incorporate what is good in American culture in our character and behavior. Hard work, achievement, the spirit of volunteering, a sense of community, a sense of identity. Although this is clearly established in the Quran. وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Say, work righteous deeds. Allah and His Messenger and the believers are going to witness your good righteous deeds. Al-ayah fi Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9 of the Quran. So there are many sources of strength and ray of hope if we correct our weakness, divisions that happen within Islamic centers. People should work for the sake of Allah and for the benefit of the community, not for praise or self-glorification. We should work together and not become divided. We should have a rational intellectual understanding of Islam rather than a rigid interpretation that Islam is rituals of worship. Islam is much more than that. It is our noble character and behavior, and it is serving Allah by reaching out and helping others who need our help. And we should incorporate what is good in American culture in our Islam, and we should have a rational answer to questions from our children, and not just say, this is what Allah wanted us to do. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه وادعوه إنه سميع قريب مجيب الدعاء.